This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Tonight from the Valley of the Sun, it's game number 1 of a 3-game series, and a long road trip kicks off. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Arizona Diamondbacks. With the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Both teams over the weekend were swept. The Diamondbacks by the Giants, the Cardinals against Atlanta, so something's got to change here tonight.
You're right. It's time to start winning some baseball games, or it's going to be a short season this year with no October. I think turning it around quickly, changing the pace of the game, and it starts with the pitching.
The pitching matchups in this series very good. Carlos Martinez, Robbie Ray tonight, Jack Flaherty, Zach Greinke tomorrow, and Miles Michaelis will go in the finale of this series against Patrick Corbin. It's the St. Louis Cardinals, the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix. Roof is closed on a hot summer day, and baseball is coming up. Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. We're in Arizona, the home of the Diamondbacks. It's the first of 3, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Lineups, first pitch, next. Outside, along with Jim Edmonds and Erica Weston, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and this is Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Mike Matheny's lineup, presented by Buick, Carpenter, Pham, and O'Neill. Then Ozuna, Molina, Jerko, Munoz, Wong, and Martinez. Robbie Ray making his second start since coming back from a 2-month stint on the DL for a strained oblique. Won his first start back against the Marlins. 6 scoreless innings, allowed just 2 hits, and he struck out 6. And the first pitch lifted down the right field line. It's a fair ball and into the corner. A leadoff double for Matt Carpenter, who's at first base tonight.
It's a nice job right there, jumping on the first pitch. What I like about thing for him leading off the game right here, especially against a lefty. You know you're buying yourself a fastball. Why not go after it, right? Good place to hit. Got to get yourself an early lead.
Here's Tommy Pham. He broke an 0 for 31 skid in yesterday's game. Went 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer. Cardinals came back with 5 runs after being down by 6. As Pham taps it foul. His first 39 games, he never went more than 2 games without a hit. So he had that long skid, and we'll see if he's coming out of it. The runner at second is Carpenter. And the 0-1 pitch now to Tommy Pham. Kubota power stats, Tommy Pham, and this home run number 50 of his major league career, and number 13 here in this season. A chance to strike early here for the Cardinals. And the 1-1 pitch. Home plate umpire is Andy Fletcher. Bill Welke, the crew chief, at first base. Tony Randazzo at second. Lance Barrett down at third. the Hyundai pitch arsenal on Robbie Ray. Fastball, curve, and a very good slider. And the 1-2 pitch to the Cardinals center fielder. Did not go. May notice the umpires wearing their red caps. They'll do that from today through the 4th. The Stars and Stripes uniform, that includes the caps, jerseys for the players, and the socks, all goes to MLB charities to support programs for servicemen and women, veterans, military families. The 2-2 pitch to Pham.
Yikes. Such a great idea, I think, raising money. Who doesn't want a jersey off one of the players' backs? And I think they're pretty cool looking. They've done a really good job around the league of changing them up every year, not making them so boring. And I think every time you get Mother's Day, Father's Day, this 4th of July, especially this one, but so cool to be a part of something in this league. I mean, I think it's a great deal that they've been doing.
3-2 the count with Carpenter at second base. Cardinals uniform a bit different. Road grays, but the Stars and Stripes on the logo. And the next two now. Tommy Pham, big gap in left center. And that's inside. A double into the corner by Carpenter. A walk issued to Pham, and in steps Tyler O'Neill. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Peralta, Pollock, and Jay in the outfield. Lamb, Ahmed, Descalso, Goldschmidt on the infield. Paul with 3 Gold Gloves. John Ryan Murphy is behind the plate. John Jay traded away by Kansas City. Daniel Descalso has found a home here in Arizona. Also, Fernando Salas works out of the bullpen for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here's Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill, base hit into left. Carpenter will be held at third. And the base is loaded for Marcell Ozuna. Dexter Fowler, by the way, on the paternity list. We'll see him Thursday in San Francisco. And that's why Tyler O'Neill is back in the big leagues.
Nice job, too, right here, getting a pitch to hit. It's the ball pretty good through the infield, but the thing about the outfield here is the grass is so short and so quick that sometimes it's pretty tough to score from second base, but you can see this outfield's pretty deep, so shouldn't be that much of a problem today. But this is always a nice place to play defense because it is so fast. The track is so short and fast. You can get some good jumps on some balls in the outfield.
Here's Marcell Ozuna. Strike one. 26 multi-hit games. First on the Cardinals, 10th overall in the National League. And coming off his best month as a Cardinal, hit .333 in June. The 0-1 pitch, fouled back. This is also usually, at least it used to be, a great place to hit. Now they have incorporated the humidor, installed last season, but not used until this year. And the difference with the Diamondbacks offensively, it is glaring. The numbers way down in home runs and in average.
I really don't understand that, to be honest with you. I still have a hard time believing that some places you should be playing with a different baseball than you are in others.
And the 0-2. Well, Robbie Ray spent a lot of time on the DL, so limited starts, but he has not allowed a first inning run this year in his first 7 starts. Bases loaded, no balls, 2 strikes on Marcell Ozuna. A check swing, and he held up 1-2. Shade him just a bit into right center. That's A.J. Pollock. And the next to Ozuna. In the dirt. 2-2. Ray has been really tough. First time through a lineup. Opponents batting 135 against him. Gradually it goes up to 256. The average second time through. Third time through 310. Also first time through a lineup he strikes out nearly 40% of the batters he sees.
We can see he's definitely trying to pitching aggressively for sure, but then tries to get you inside the strike zone and then tries to get just outside the strike zone to get you to chase. He's grunting on every pitch, so he's pretty much max effort out there on the mound.
Beat the Cardinals in his second start of the year. That was back on the 5th of April. 1 run in 6 innings. Overall 1-2 in 4 career starts against the Cardinals. The 2-2 pitch with the bases loaded. Called third strike. I think Marcel thought that was down, maybe a little in, but it's a called third strike.
Ball's definitely down. He just called a better pitch a ball earlier. It's something you see as a hitter, even if you're on the on-deck circle. Guy takes a ball down, it's a ball. So you're pretty confident that you know the strike zone anyways, and when it's down there, you're hoping it's going to be a ball.
There's Yadier Molina.
It's frustrating when you battle and you know you take a pitch that's outside the strike zone for a strike. This game's hard enough as it is.
May remember the heated exchange with Torey Lovullo back in St. Louis in early April with Molina and the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks that resulted in 1-game suspensions. I asked Mike Matheny before the game about that. He said Torey had actually, right after the game in April, reached out to Mike Matheny. Everything's cleared up. The 0-1. Now it's 0-2. And he said he wanted to make sure and reach out to Yadier Molina and talk it over with him before the first pitch tonight.
Well,
so it's put to bed.
That's the thing to do. Torey's a class act. Played with him back when I was a rookie in the Angels organization and just thought he was always a classy guy. That really caught me off guard when I watched that go down.
The 0-2. Hit out of play. Molina usually very tough in these spots. Doesn't strike out all that much. Puts the ball in play. But having said that, he's in the hole 0-2. Robbie Ray is thinking strike out, maybe get him to reach, roll over on a ground ball.
Well, you don't want to give him anything to drive because you know if he hits the ball in the air, it's a run. Try to get him something on the ground, try to jam him or get him to chase. Got a chance for double play ball. Something that saves him from a run.
And the 0-2 pitch to Molina. Pulled foul. $18 pitches already here in the first inning. Inning started with a double by Carpenter, Pham the walk, single by O'Neill to left. Then Ozuna struck out looking, and now 0-2 on Yadier Molina. And the next to Molina. Little flare, right center, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Pham. He'll score. Yadi delivers. 2-0 Cardinals here in the first. And he does it on an 0-2 pitch.
That's what Yadi does so well. Stays inside the ball. He's not afraid to get jammed. Good things happen when you put it in play. Great read by Tommy Pham.
And with that read, he scores easily, no hesitation. So now it's Jed Jerko, started now in 3 straight games after coming off the bench in the previous 4. Strike 1 on Jed.
That's such a big quality too. Important quality as a baseball player. A lot of guys don't have it, is that read, that instinct of the ball off the bat, especially at first base and second base when the ball gets into the outfield. It creates such an easier chances of scoring when you can actually read the ball off the bat. And it's funny, you see a lot of players that don't do it very well at all.
Here's an 0-1 pitch now to Jed Jerko. Fastball and a strike, 0-2. Not much of a crowd, and it's a cavernous ballpark, and as Jimmy mentioned, you can hear Ray grunting all the way up here in the booth with every pitch. This ballpark holds 49,000. 0-2 the count. Jerko pulls it foul. It was an 0-2 single by Molina.
Imagine how big this ballpark would be if it wasn't backed up to the street in center field. If it wasn't just a flat wall, they'd have room for another 20,000 people back there.
When they had the World Series here, they needed every bit of it. This place was wild. It was packed.
I love this place. I think it's cool. I always like coming here to play. You gotta love the weather, the heat, and until this year, you love the way the ball travels.
Spoken like a true hitter.
Yeah, exactly. I would not be happy if I was on this team and I had some pitchers complaining about the ball carrying.
1-2 now on Jed Jerko. Cardinals changing things up in the lineup and defensively tonight with Jerko at third base, Munoz at short, Matt Carpenter, he is at first base, and no Jose Martinez. Martinez was here at the ballpark early and extra practice defensively in right field. Here's a 1-2. Hit out of play. And Mike Matheny talked about it before the game that they're going to work with him out there. They want to keep his bat in the lineup. They know that at times it's been a struggle defensively for Martinez, and so they're looking at right field. And quickly, it's a visit. It's the pitching coach seeing something clearly with Robbie Ray. That's not a medical visit. That's just the pitching coach maybe detecting something.
Yeah, Mike Butcher, long time in the Angels organization, running out. That was odd for him to run out there at the time that he just did.
I mean, he darted out of the dugout right after the foul ball. Hadn't even hit the seat yet.
It's when you think that they're getting pitches, tipping out of the glove, giving signs from second. Sometimes that usually means that they're a little paranoid.
Twelve of the 24 pitches have been the slider, and that's whacked into center field. Another run being waved in. The throw to the plate is cut off. O'Neill scores, and it's 3-0 Cardinals as Jed Jerko delivers.
I always wonder when you're watching the game on TV and you see the pitching coach run out there, and then the guy throws the next pitch right down the middle for a base hit. You think that he ran out there and said, throw the ball down the middle and let him hit it? Jed does a good job, though. The ball's on the outside edge of the plate. No chance to throw him out at home. I'm not digging those funky uniforms. What about you?
I like them. I like that it raises awareness, breaks up the monotony of the season. Why not? There's Jairo Munoz.
That's what I always thought about coming here. Weather, nice, open, dry stadium, closed, still nice and dry. Good place to visit. Great city, great restaurants, nice hotel.
When they open up the paneling in left and right center, the ball just flies out of here.
But that ball that McGuire hit out of here, up through the roof, out of one of the panels.
Munoz with a fly ball out to deep right. Jay on the move, won't get it. One hops off the wall. One run is in. Here comes Jerko. Relay to the plate. He is out at the plate. A run scores. And Munoz winds up at third.
That was a great job right there all the way around. I think great job by Oquendo sending him. Nice swing by Munoz. What's the chances you have to take right here? It looked like Jed just ran out of gas at the end. Kind of had a little stumble there around third base, and it kind of just slowed him up just enough.
It was a relay by Jay Descalso to John Ryan Murphy. So 2 outs, and here's Colton Wong. So it's a double and an RBI for Munoz, his 17th of the year. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Carlos Martinez is at the on deck circle.
Pretty good chance he's going to get a chance to hit this inning. Can't just give cookie here to Wong.
And a grounder as he jammed him. Goldschmidt to the bag and just got him. Big inning for the Cardinals. 5 hits in a 4-run lead. Carlos Martinez to the mound. Goal tonight. Beat the Indians in his last start. He allowed 2 runs, struck out 8 over 6 innings. His season numbers, spent some time on the DL, and now the Diamondbacks have to come back in this ball game as they trail by 4. Big inning for the Cardinals. Torey Lovullo, folks rave about him in baseball, think he's an up-and-comer inside that Diamondbacks dugout.
An up-and-comer, he's here.
His lineup with Jay at the top, then Goldschmidt and Lamb. A.J. Pollock, David Peralta, Daniel Descalso, John Ryan Murphy, Nick Ahmed, and the pitcher Robbie Ray.
Pretty funny to see Jay and Descalso in a different lineup, considering those two are almost like best friends.
Very close.
Always together.
Think about it, Jay, Descalso, Salas. I mentioned that trio. They are here with Arizona. They were with the Cardinals in 2011 when the Cardinals won the World Series. The Cardinals have 1 player on the current roster that's active from 2011. That's Yadier Molina. So 3 for the Diamondbacks and 1 for St. Louis. Jay is over his last 27 and late with that swing. Nothing in 2.
That is unusual.
It's the longest streak right now in all of baseball. And the 0-2 backhanded by Jerko, couldn't come up with it. And Jay is aboard on an 0-2 pitch.
Sometimes when you're a good hitter, you have some bad streaks, but I don't think I would ever see, I would not guess John Jay would ever be a 0 for 27 slump.
It's ruled an error on Jerko, his 9th of the year.
You could see that swing right there. It tells you why he's that kind of a swing is what will save you as a hitter from being in slumps, because you can take a pitch that's nasty down and away and foul it off, push it into left field. Those are the things you can do to stay out of slumps.
There's Paul Goldschmidt. Terrible start and back to being Paul Goldschmidt.
Crazy how that happens, right? They say at the end of the year your numbers will be there. Plus or minus probably some average.
National League Player of the Month in June, hit .364 with 10 home runs. That's inside in a wild pitch. So Jay moves up to second base. Paul Goldschmidt of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arcia drive to success. Great opposite field power. Month of May hit .144. June turned it on. And he can carry a team, which is what he's done here with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, you can see very little movement. He's so good at just staying still with the kind of power he has. You normally don't see a guy with this kind of power and that little bit of movement.
Real easy swing, smooth.
Just got to be so strong, so big. Tony La Russa loves this guy. He compares him to Albert, the way he works. Yep. It's not a comment that you would ever hear coming from Tony La Russa.
Well, I was here early at the ballpark. Jose Martinez in right field, extra work defensively. First guy in the cage, extra batting practice, Paul Goldschmidt. Good slider. 3-2.
It's nasty right there.
And the 3-2 pitch, base hit into right field, charging hard O'Neill. They'll hold up the runner Jay at third, and runners at first and third. Nobody out for Arizona.
That's what I'm talking about. I've got to keep guys from getting in slumps. This is exactly the kind of hitter these guys are. Goldschmidt and Jay. Not even any kind of effort right there to do anything special. Just put the ball in play. It's got so much pop that if that is a hanging slider and he gets out in front of it, he's able to juice it up into the seats.
There's Jake Lamb, has hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. .342 the average, swinging a hot bat. Was an all-star a season ago. Career highs in hits, home runs, runs driven in. And that's a ball outside. Before last start, Martinez had 4 starts off the DL, 20 walks in 16 2/3. Lack of control, but much better after the first inning against Cleveland. And I asked Mike Matheny about that today, and he said usually you can spot Martinez early on in a game, probably the first inning. And he talked about tempo and rhythm. And if he's got that going, it could be a long night for the opposition.
Well, that's the thing that we always talk about. If he's kind of fooling around with it a little bit in the first inning where he's not really throwing hard, not really following through. He'll sometimes throw 92, sometimes throw 94. Waits a little bit too long to get mad and then starts firing 97, and he kind of throws himself off a little bit. And then he struggles a little bit, throws a lot of pitches. Not consistent. If he's consistent in the first inning and he can hold that, he's definitely going to be lights out.
Here's a 1-2 pitch by Martinez. Hit out of play. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Carlos Martinez. Well, we know when it's right, his slider is as good as any in baseball. Really tough on right-handed batters, but he's been tough on the lefties this year.
Yeah, he's got so much movement. And when you look at all the pitches he can throw, just so much movement going both directions. Sinker one way, the nice slider, cutter going the other way, and the velocity.
A ground ball and a foul with Carpenter at the bag at first.
The velocity as a hitter, you never know what you're going to get. You can get 92 or you can get a 99.
Think about the infield defense yesterday. It cost the Cardinals a couple of runs. Ultimately cost them the game. Lost by 1 run. So Jerko at third tonight. Carpenter at first, and Tyler O'Neill back in the big leagues in right field.
Yeah, it's amazing when you give away some outs and some runs, how it really comes back to cost you.
The check swing. Ooh, it did not go. 2-2. Good play by Molina to somehow keep that in front.
You can see the movement right there. I don't know what that is right there. 89. It almost looked like a changeup that he overthrew. It was a good look at some serious spin coming out of his hand.
8th pitch of the at bat.
Trying to throw it here again.
And the 3-2, a base hit into right. It brings in John Jay to make it 4-1. Jake Lamb with the RBI. He's 26th. Cardinals defensively tonight. Around the Horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Pham, and O'Neill in the outfield. Jerko, Munoz, Wong, and Carpenter on the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. A.J. Pollock returning to their lineup. Suffered a fractured left thumb. Joey Crable was also called up. He's in their bullpen. Pollock hitting .293. Runners at first and second. And nobody out. There's strike one.
Now you're starting to see the velocity already. You can see he gets a little frustrated. And that's where sometimes when he gets frustrated, he can't gather his mechanics to go from 92 to 95 to 97. He starts rushing a little bit. Hopefully he can keep it together, start making some pitches.
And time called. Outfield is straight away. And the 0-1 lifted in the air. Tommy Pham, a position to throw. And a strike back into the infield, staying put the runners. Turn to Jim Edmonds Toyota, key to the game.
Well, I'm basically just trying to make it simple right now. I'm just trying to win the game. Start playing winning baseball. And I feel like winning a baseball is now not relying on the home runs, move guys over, just what they did in that first inning. Move guys around, get a walk, get some base hits, get some guys running in motion, and play winning baseball. Stop making mistakes on defense and start winning some baseball games.
Here's David Peralta, the left fielder. A fastball down and in. Non-drafted, many of you know the story. Free agent pitcher signed by the Cardinals in September of 2004. Had a pair of shoulder surgeries. Converted to a position player and he played all over the world, independent baseball, and eventually found himself a home in the outfield for Arizona. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second. Robbie Ray had 29 pitches in the top of the first. This will be number 22 for Carlos Martinez. And the 1-1. Cardinals need him to step up in a big way. St. Louis has lost 4 straight. The starting pitcher in the 4 games has not gotten it done. 17 earned in 20 1/3 by those starters. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the first strikeout for Martinez. See the dot there of the slider. There's Daniel Descalso. Parts of 5 seasons with the Cardinals. Talking with Daniel before the game, and said he really enjoys it here in Arizona. He's found a home. 3rd round pick in 2007. He played in 44 postseason games for the Cardinals. 44.
You know what's funny? It's so just an underrated player as far as playing the game the right way. And he was right. He was around. He played in a lot of games, a lot of big games, and he played well. It's almost like he was the Greg Garcia before the Greg Garcia showed up. He did everything.
Cardinals under Tony La Russa, then into now Mike Matheny. It's guys like Descalso, Aaron Miles, Skip Schumacher, glue pieces for a roster that keep it together, come up with big at bats. Daniel was Gold Glove finalist in 2011 at 3rd base.
Crazy is like the guy like this too. They come up. It's like the Jed Jerkos. You know, he come up. You're a little bit of a role player, and all of a sudden you find him, and he just starts to play more and more and more.
And producing.
And producing is right. Well, that's why you get to play more, right?
Yep.
You get your chance to go out there and do your job, and all of a sudden you can't be taken out of the lineup. You never know when you're going to get that chance.
And that's taken low. Big happy birthday, Scott Battles from Illinois, celebrating here in Arizona.
There's a lot of taxing pitches right here in the 1st inning. Almost 30 pitches, 27 pitches already.
And the 3-1 lifted in the air out to shallow right, calling off the right fielder O'Neill. It's Wong, and he makes the play. A base hit to right by Lamb. And the Diamondbacks get on the board. If you can't catch a game on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Cardinals wherever you go. Carlos Martinez, Matt Carpenter, and Tommy Pham against Robbie Ray. A strike at the knees. Cullen, Bennett, Vanessa, and Ryan Kelly are all here watching baseball. I want to say hi to Nana and Papa in Steelville, Illinois. It's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Robbie Ray last year, a scary situation on a comebacker, a line drive at Busch Stadium. You may recall, hit by Luke Voigt. Hit off his forehead. And Martinez sends it into deep right center. One hopper over the wall near the pole and a ground rule double.
Swing hard in case you hit it. This is a pretty good swing right here too, though. This kid, I'm telling you right now, I mean, if people don't get a chance to spend any time with these players, he's put together some kind of special way and some kind of athlete. Just young and raw.
In steps Carpenter, doubled to begin the ball game with a soft liner hit into the corner in right field. Martinez, your runner at second base. I don't know if you remember that play, Jimmy, with Robbie Ray, Luke Voigt at the plate, who, by the way, hit for the cycle yesterday for Memphis. But a really scary situation, and you can see the cap of Ray. He's got that protective lining inside the cap to protect the forehead, the temples. Scary. 1 ball and 1 strike. It was at Busch Stadium as we flash back, and here it was. And the catch actually was made by Descalso for an out. And amazingly came back.
That is some kind of awful right there.
And since that injury in late August, he's 9-0.
Good for him.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Takes some guts to go back out there.
I would definitely have to say so. I mean, I don't make light of that at all. I mean, that is a scary situation, and I've known a lot of people around the game over the years to get hit just being around the field, and I mean, I'm telling you, they flinch every day after that. Even just the coaches in the cage, and once you get hit once, you don't want to ever be anywhere near that ever again.
Here's a 1-2. Strikeout of Carpenter. Number 2 tonight for Ray. Our Lowe's whole team together. Highest winning percentage at Chase Field. The Cardinals 41-30. As a matter of fact, under Mike Matheny. St. Louis 14-6 at Chase Field. They've tied or won 5 of the 6 series they played here. Here's Tommy Pham. Pham walked and scored back in the first.
It's a big run. These have been some big runs out there on the base pass. I mean, just he's on second with nobody out doesn't mean his automatic score. These are some big runs in these games that they've been just missing. This here and a little bit there can completely change a season when you come to the end and you realize how many times you look at stats and see if you've scored runs with guys on third and less than 2 outs, or move a runner over. Those little things really, really pile up. Either way, either do them or you don't.
You talked about in your key to the game, very simply win, but part of that is playing good baseball, fundamentally sound, and you're thinking about the idea of pulling the ball to the right side of your Carpenter. You could see he was trying to do that.
It's hard to do too. I mean, just because of that not getting done, it's hard to do. It was hard for me. Sometimes when you try to do things you're not normally used to doing, you go outside your strike zone. You try to go out. You think you're going to get a pitch away, and you go out and try to hook something. There's a fine line between doing your job and still becoming a good hitter, and it's really hard. I think at times I struggle with it too, trying to move guys over.
Missed on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And again, a foul ball off the foot or shin of Tommy Pham. Really trying to bust him in, aren't they?
Yeah, trying to keep it in on his hands. He's got that good cutter too. Slider right there. Oh, right off the toe.
Ouch.
Still trying to figure out if I like those socks or not.
Part of the uni.
Isn't it weird when you see something different that catches your eye and you're like,
well, I noticed
I like the front sock.
I was going to say,
and I like the back sock, but I don't know if I like them together.
I like the front. I noticed it right away.
Goes with the uniform, obviously.
Yep.
I still think it's weird to see the red helmets on the road. And that's been a while.
A strikeout. Back to back, and Cardinals need a 2-out hit from Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill this season, 49 minor league games, was batting .304 with 19 home runs, and he had driven in 46. All told, he's played in just over 500 minor league games, 504, 120 home runs.
I mean, there's no denying that he's got some pop. Nice to see him get up here and get his chance eventually. I'm sure he would like that too.
A couple of lefties Cardinals face in this series starting tonight, so that also could play into the equation of the lineup tomorrow and the next night. Fastball and a strike. O'Neill is single to left back in the first inning.
I think the key to a young player is so simple and yet so hard to do is come up here and not panic, not try and do things you're not capable of doing, not worry about playing time, just really trying to go out there and play the game that day and don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about I got to get 2 hits, I got to play great deep, I got to do this. You can't play like that. You just have to play the game. So hard to do.
Tyler was thrilled he got a direct flight out of Des Moines, Iowa to Phoenix today and right into the lineup. That's the one thing about minor league players, a lot of times few stops. As O'Neill skies one into right center, Pollock back and makes the catch. Cardinals strand a runner. It was a leadoff double by Martinez. The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Cardinals are represented on this year's squad. Vote at cardinals.com/vote and see all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th, live on Fox. Jose Martinez not in the starting lineup tonight. Same can be said for Harrison Bader. More on that. Let's check in with Erica.
Thank you, Dania. Mike Matheny said before the game today he wanted to continue to give Jose Martinez some work in the outfield, as you mentioned in the broadcast earlier today. We saw him getting some work in before the game this afternoon. Now, Martinez's defense has been in question as of late, especially in Miles Michaelis's last start, with hardly any balls leaving the infield. Matheny added he's just going with some different looks right now. He wants to get a good look at Tyler O'Neill while he is up here, and he wants the guys to get engaged in the infield. Dan?
All right, Erica, thank you. Munoz retires John Ryan Murphy. First out here in the home half of the second. And it brings in Nick Ahmed. I think right now Mike is going to try anything.
Well,
just to get it going.
I think that the one thing you can do is when you don't play well as a group, you give the manager free rein to do whatever he wants as far as the lineup and the playing time, because you're basically trying to figure out who wants to play. Because if you're not successful, sometimes you just got to change it up. So it's like, here we go, start over, free reign to move guys around, and no one really can say anything about it because what was out there wasn't working day in and day out.
There's Nick Ahmed. Real slick fielder, but he's popped 10 home runs. Average of 224, and he's driven in 33. Nothing in 2.
Did you just say he was a slick fielder?
You got it. He is smooth, slick, crafty, good, great range, strong arm.
Okay, you win. Slick.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's up and in. Ahmed was hit by the Cardinals a year ago, broke his hand. And that was close there. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Hear a lot about launch angle in the game today, and I was reading a few stories about Nick Ahmed, and I mentioned the 10 home runs. He is one of those players that's changed his swing slightly with an uppercut, bought into it, and getting lift. Jim Edmonds, do you buy into launch angle?
So now he's hitting 224 with 10 homers. That's, I mean, really, like, that's so. The way I look at it is, Tony used to say this to me all the time too. Try to hit 300, your home runs will come, right? If you got home run pop, you try to hit 300. He would rather you hit 300 because that means you're going to drive in runs, you're going to move guys around, you're going to keep the ball running around. Like I said, sometimes home runs can be a rally killer.
Late movement with that breaking pitch to Ahmed. Second strikeout for Carlos Martinez. Watch this late break. Whoop.
Back to what we were saying too. If you look at that slider one more time, but if you're asking me if I want a guy that's going to hit 280 with 7 home runs or a guy that's going to hit 244 with 10, I mean, what would you rather have, right? So he hits 3 balls more hard in the course of the first 3 months of the season. I'd rather have a guy hit the ball over the yard and keep the game going.
There's Robbie Ray, hitless this year, 0 for 11. Just noticed a Jim Edmonds jersey. About, let's see, 1, 2, 4 rows deep.
4 rows back.
Another way to. And he looks slick.
He is a slick dressing cat.
Ozuna, Molina, and Jerko coming up. As we head to the top of the third, the GMC leaderboard, lowest team ERA in all of baseball. Houston, the Yankees, and then the Diamondbacks, 3.49. The Chicago Cubs and the Boston Red Sox, the top 5 in all of baseball, the GMC leaderboard.
It's a pretty good coincidence, and some of those teams are really good.
Yep. You pitch, you win. More times than not. Play solid defense. Clean baseball. There's Marcell Ozuna, who's struck out looking with nobody out and the bases loaded back in the first.
You see what he did right there? And I'm not saying I know what he did, but I'm pretty sure that he probably went back and looked at the tape, saw that it was down. But what you should do as a good hitter, then you should go to the umpire and say, hey, I went in and looked at that. I just want you to know that ball was down. And be done with it. Now he can go back and say, hey, I just went and looked at that, and that ball was inside. Not having a good strike zone this afternoon so far.
The pitch down, 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, the ball that was hit by John Jay in the infield initially ruled an error on Jed Jerko. I thought this might happen. It was overturned to a base hit. So now he's 1 for his last 28. That snaps an 0 for 27 for John Jay. He says, thank you very much. I'm off the hook.
Thank you very much. Where do I pay my dollar?
Well, you're at home. The official score usually a little bit more lenient, it seems like, at home. Not always. Here's a 2-1 pitch. And it's 2-2. The 2-2. Ozuna with a fly ball into right, backing up John Jay under it, and makes the catch. Saturday, July 14th, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a limited edition bobblehead celebrating Adam Wainwright's 2017 Silver Slugger Award, courtesy of SSM Healthcare, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. 200 of the bobbleheads will be painted completely silver to highlight Waino's achievement. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Yadier Molina. Singled on an 0-2 pitch. And brought in 2 back in the first. Here's a 1-0.
Tell you what, Robbie Ray's doing a really good job keeping the ball just off the plate. His location is perfect as far as just off the outside of the strike zone. As a hitter, though, you think that that's going to be a strike, especially if he's calling it. Those are tough pitches to hit.
And Molina pops it up. Almost hit the roof. Well, that was close. May have grazed it. And the catch made by Nick Ahmed for out number 2.
Third baseman, Jed Jerko.
You'd see that in Houston, Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Tampa Bay had an issue with that this past week where it actually did hit off the roof. Thank goodness we've got it. 106 outside as Jerko lines it to center, and the catch is made. Cardinals go in order, and Robbie Ray set down 6 in a row. John Jay coming up. broadcast presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals a 4-1 lead. They've out hit the Diamondbacks 6-3. And both teams have stranded a pair. It's Jay, Goldschmidt, and Lamb. We were talking before the game at dinner. You really, really like the game of John Jay. You always have.
I like him. You're right. It's, I guess you would call it the game. It's everything. I think what he does is he's a professional player. He's a professional teammate. He does a great job in the locker room, and he does everything you need him to do on the field. Not the flashiest guy, not the greatest player, but a winner, and that's all you care about.
That's why a team like Arizona goes out and gets him. Winning type ball player. Rarely makes mistakes in the outfield. It's guys like Mike Schilt that have taught him the game. Coming up, certainly Tony La Russa, and now reunited with Dave McKay, the first base coach here in Arizona.
Well, he comes from a big program down in Miami too. I mean, I think that his background says a lot about him, and he's just a great teammate and a great professional.
Trying to slap it the other way and foul. There's Dave McKay, who's been around, it seems like, forever. Here's a 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout of John Jay, and that's number 4 on the night. 3 in a row here for Carlos Martinez.
It's a nasty, nasty pitch right here.
So you get to first base, Dave McKay, and you were at first base a lot of hits. Here's Goldschmidt. Is it always the same thing, you know, talking about situations?
Always.
And, you know, times to the plate.
So cut and dry, too. You would be like, man, I can't believe I got that pitch and I got that in and out. But hey, 1 out. Guy,
Focus, right?
It was just like, wait, let me get my job done. Tap you on the shoulder. Listen up. Listen up. Watch the third base coach. There's 2 outs. Look at the outfield's deep. It was so quick. What a great, great coach. You know, the best thing about Dave McKay is he recognized when people knew the game, and he would let you play, and he would leave you alone. Outfield, he was so great with being an outfield coach for me, is he was just like, you know what you're doing out there. I don't have to tell you. Go ahead and do this. If this is what you feel, go ahead and do it, and I'll take responsibility for it. He was just a great player's coach.
0-2, hit out of play by Goldschmidt. Single to right, first time up.
Talk about a hard worker too, man. That guy, Dave McKay, every day if you couldn't find him, he's in the gym.
And a ground ball that's under the glove of Jerko and a base hit into left.
Another good piece of hitting by Goldschmidt right here. The thing about Martinez is he's so nasty, right? As a hitter, you can't really go up there and look for a fastball or look for something hanging. You really have to slow down a little bit and take what he gives you. So Goldschmidt today, 2 nice easy swings, put the ball in play, and comes away with 2 hits so far.
Here's Jake Lamb and a base hit to right with runners at first and third back in the first. And a ground ball. Carpenter spins out there, back to first. The stretch by Martinez and a double play. 3-6-1 on the double play as the Diamondbacks will take an extended look at it. No challenge. The double play ends the third. Nicely done. 4-1 our score as we move to the top of the fourth. Jairo Munoz, Colton Wong, and Carlos Martinez. And a strike. And the 0-1. Munoz with a double and an RBI back in the first inning. That would score Yadier Molina. Jed Jerko tried to score from first base and was gunned out at the plate on a relay by Jay to Descalso to Murphy. 0-2 the count. Robbie Ray has set down 6 in a row. Make it 7. And that'll be his 4th strikeout of the night. That's something he can do a lot of. Striking out 13.6 batters per 9, highest of any starter in baseball.
Well, he does a good job of really trying to get inside on the right-handed hitter. And that's something that just speeds you up just enough to have you open up your zone a little bit and cheat enough to where you're not swinging at strikes all the time. And that's a major problem for a right-handed hitter. Crossfiring a little bit, the ball kind of buries in on your hands, makes you want to speed up a little bit. When you start to speed up, you don't see the ball as well, and you start to swing at things you wouldn't normally swing at.
0-2 the count on Wong with the pitcher Martinez at the on-deck circle. The next two, Colton. Missed on the inside corner, a little bit low. There were some epic games that you were part of at this ballpark in postseason play. Cardinals and Diamondbacks in the early 2000s. Seems like you always met in the playoffs.
That and the Dodgers, the year the Diamondbacks won the World Series. Felt like we could have easily been in that spot. We handled their big 2 pretty well, I thought. It was like you said, it was a lot of fun. Those are so much fun to be a part of.
It was Tony Womack with a walk-off hit against Steve Klein, I believe.
Yep.
3-2 pitch now to Colton Wong. And he puts it in play towards second. Descalso. (4-1) our score with 2 outs. And a reminder, are you 13 or under? Do you like Cardinals items? Want to be invited to an autograph only party with players at Busch Stadium? And that's September 1st. If you answered yes to those questions, Cardinals Kids Club presented by Rawlings for only $30. Cardinals.com/Kids Club. Head to the family pavilion during any home game to join. Carlos Martinez a double to right center first time up. And looks at ball 1. One ball, 1 strike. Mentioned the big 2, and that would be Schilling and Johnson. Randy Johnson now in the Hall of Fame. Kurt Schilling on the outside looking in. Great players, both sides back there in the early 2000s. Matt Williams, Luis Gonzalez.
Finley.
Yep.
Steve Finley.
One and 2 the count on Carlos Martinez.
Is that the series that Scott ran into the third baseman? Rolling?
It was. Alex Cintron.
Oh, that's right.
Collision that he had between short and third base. Martinez strikes out. That's 5 for Robbie Ray. list. His wife expecting their second child, and called back up from Memphis, Tyler O'Neill. With more on that, let's check in with Erica.
Thank you, Dan. I had a chance to speak with Tyler O'Neill before the game today, and he said every time he gets the call-up, it's like a dream come true. This, of course, is his third call-up with the big club today, or this season, excuse me. He said he's been putting up the numbers he expects in AAA so far in the Pacific Coast League. He has got 19 home runs, which is second in the PCL, sixth in all of minor league baseball. He said he's taking his pregame routine more seriously this year, saying he got away from just thinking of the ball coming in at the plate, adding, I'm not shortcutting my preparation anymore, and guys, it seems to be paying off. He got a single in the first inning.
It's good to have him back, and he's a threat, Jimmy, anytime he's in the batter's box because of that power.
Yeah, you like to see a guy in your lineup that at any time can give the ball a ride, and home runs are a big part of the game, but also take that single in the hole too.
A.J. Pollock at the plate, cleanup man for Arizona. Fly to center, first time up. And a grounder taken there by Jerko, one away. Well, it looks like both starters are beginning to get locked in.
Yeah, you had that ball right there, right down the middle, but the movement of the fastball, the sinker, just diving underneath the barrel right there. Just simple, routine ground ball to third base. It's what the movement will do for you. Why, when you have that much movement, you can pitch to contact. Allow guys just to hit the ball on the ground and move on.
Here's David Peralta. And a base hit into right center. Rolling all the way to the wall near the 413 side. And Peralta on his way to third. It's a one-out triple, standing up.
Not as much movement there. Ball up in the zone, and it's driven into the gap. Watching him run the bases, and wouldn't use that for a clinic on how to turn around first and second base for a triple. Those are some wide turns.
Here's Descalso. 0 for his last 15 against right-handed pitching. That includes a soft liner that he hit to Colton Wong, and this one he's popped up on the infield. It'll be Jerko, makes the play, and a big out.
It's a great pitch right there. Like a little cutter on the inner half, gets in there off the hands. There's really nothing you can do as a left-handed hitter with that pitch. Where this ball ends up.
I've heard it once, I've heard it a million times from Jim Edmonds. I hate those cutters.
Cutters are the worst. Right-handed cutter to a left-handed hitter is the toughest pitch to handle. For me anyways, it was.
John Ryan Murphy looks at a strike at 96.
The thing about the cutter, Danny, is you pick up the slider because of the spin, and you see the dot on the slider as it's spinning. You see the seams come together with the tight spin. The cutter almost looks like a four-seam fastball. It looks like you don't see much of a different spin to it. It's kind of barely tilted, and it literally all it needs to do is just move a little bit, enough to get on your handle and just get away from the barrel.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Hit out of play. Diamondbacks coming into play tonight, 10 games above the 500 mark. 2.5 game lead over both the Dodgers and Giants. Colorado's 6 back. The Cardinals 5.5 out in the Central. They're in the 9th. Minnesota leading Milwaukee 5-4. Chicago with an off day. The 1-2 pitch inside. Martinez has the ability to run the ball in and out against both righties and lefties.
Yeah, that sinker can go definitely bury in on a right-hander, and that's what that cutter does to the lefty. It makes it tough when you have to speed up to be able to get to the pitch on the inner half.
The 2-2. Got him. A strikeout from Martinez. And pitches out of a little jam here in the bottom of the fourth. Coming up for the Cardinals, the top of the lineup. Matt Carpenter, Tommy Pham, and Tyler O'Neill. BJC Healthcare difference maker Yadier Molina on an 0-2 pitch. Soft liner that would score a couple. Jed Jerko a base hit into center. And then Jairo Munoz a double that scored one and almost two. A relay to the plate to get Jerko trying to score. And that's your BJC Healthcare difference maker. The Cardinals currently with a 4-1 lead.
See that tag that Murphy made right there. Such a good tag. He used the ball's momentum to go get it, but yet have that spin him around towards the plate. A lot of times you see guys catch the ball and then try to turn and tag. He spun perfectly and made that such a quick tag.
1 ball and 1 strike. You basically have to be perfect with replay now. You got to have that tag on him.
Yeah, I thought the ball was going to beat him to the plate, but I didn't think he was going to be able to swing back and tag him in time. It was a great job by Murphy, like I said.
Carpenter hits into the shift for the out. 1 for 3 on the night. The batter will be Tommy Pham. It was the shortstop Nick Ahmed. Well, the first time through the lineup, and normally he's so good, but Robbie Ray, Cardinals went 6 for 8, a walk, 3 doubles, and 4 runs. Second time through, 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts. And here we go, the third time through. One ball and 1 strike. One and 2. Took 9 games, but Pham finally got that elusive home run number 50 in his career yesterday. That came after his single to snap his hitless streak at 31. He's had very good numbers at this ballpark. Came in as a career .360 hitter at Chase Field. Last July he went on a tear. Really carried the club. Had 5 home runs. He drove in 20, and you'd love to see him get back on a tear this July.
He was here last year or the year before with his sister was sitting in the stands,
Yeah.
and he was going nuts. A couple homers in a game. He was on fire then too. I don't know if that was this year or last year or the year before.
A sinking liner, and it drops in for a base hit. And Pham on base for the second time. It was 10 in a row set down by Ray.
A good job right here by Tommy Pham being stubborn and staying with it. Look how far back though the outfielders are playing, because normally the ball travels here, and so everyone plays deep. You see John Jay out there. I mean, right now he's standing 10 feet from the warning track. That's deep in this ballpark.
With right-handed batters, you think about a lefty maybe, but not a right-hander.
Well, and here's the scenario. Oh, perfect timing. With this guy pitching, this is the way I learned how to play the game. With this guy pitching, what is he going to do? He's going to bury pitches in on the right-handed hitter. So the chances of him driving a ball to right field are not good. Chances of him blooping a ball into right field with a pitch on the inner half are higher. So what can you do if he's pitching you in as a righty? You're either going to turn on it and it's going to yank it, or you're going to hit a jam shot into right field. Those are your those basically the two things that you can do with it. So now you play defense off of that. Now the left fielder, opposite, right? He's going to back up, because if you keep pitching in, someone's going to turn on a ball and they're going to drive the ball in the left field, or you don't have to worry about it. So each position out there, even on the infield, presents a different problem. You don't play the same way in each position because of what can only be done with the pitch at hand. You set a ball in a tee, and every person on that field can figure out where that ball can only go to. And that's the way I was taught to play defense.
Bring up a great point, and I think back to when the Diamondbacks won the World Series, maybe the best cutter of all, Mariano Rivera. Luis Gonzalez at the plate. What's he do? Gets a cutter, sawed off.
Jams the you-know-what out of him.
Yep.
And barely gets it out of the infield.
That's right. But that's the type of hit that you're talking about.
I learned that coming up also with Chuck Finley throwing the fork ball. I remember him always saying to the third baseman, this guy will top Chuck Finley's fork ball. You have to be careful when Chuck pitches. And that's the third baseman. So on that day, you're a different fielder.
1-2 on Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill, a base hit to left, a run scored, part of a 4-run first for the Cardinals. Fly to center. 1 for 2 on the evening here against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Time called. That's hit down the left field line, and as Jimmy said, what are you going to do with that pitch? Either yank it foul, or sometimes.
Well, you just saw it
right.
back-to-back hitters right there. I mean, the only thing he can do to right field on this pitch is to jam it into right field shallow, or yank it down the left field line. Perfect example of 2 of the same hitters, similar hitters with the same pitch. The ball's a little bit further inside, but the real test is when you're the center fielder, you're kind of in no man's land. You got to cover everything.
And the 1-2. Tied him up, struck him out. Strikeout number 6 for Robbie Ray, and it brings in Marcell Ozuna. 0 for 2. Came up with the bases loaded, nobody out in the first. Was called out on strikes and also flied to right. Ozuna with 10 home runs. Was not homered since the Cubs series. Pitch count now starting to come into play. 84 for the lefty Ray. He's due up second for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of this inning. Oh, and 2. Oh, 2 pitch and a strikeout of Ozuna. Back-to-back Ks, 7 tonight for Robbie Ray. Midway through 5, and we're in the desert. All right, Jimmy, thank you. Bottom of 5 rolls in. 4th of July week. If you're just joining us, you see the different logos, the red hats being worn, and proceeds from these uniforms and hats go to veterans and those that are in our armed services. 4-1 our score. It's Ahmed, Ray, and John Jay. Umpires are a part of this as well. The red hats being worn by the umps. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Ahmed struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. Martinez has struck out 5 and has not walked a man. Three and 0. Milwaukee has come back to tie their game up with Minnesota 5-5. And they're now in the 10th. The 3-1 pitch. 3-2, and let's see if Martinez can come back from 3-0 to get him. Out of play. Really looking forward to the matchup tomorrow. Pair of right-handers. Zach Greinke coming off a tremendous month for the Diamondbacks, and at times special outings for Jack Flaherty. That'll be the matchup tomorrow. Ahmed. Wow. It's called a ball, and he barely missed. First walk issued by Martinez.
That might have fooled the umpire right there. It's a pretty good pitch. Been a strike all night. Just a little bit down, but
Do you question going with a breaking ball on an eighth place hitter, 3-2?
I did a little bit. I was questioning the first 3 in a row to get to 3-0.
And the bunt is down. Handled by Jed Jerko. The sacrifice number 2 for Robbie Ray.
But he made a good pitch. And he's called that pitch a couple of times strikes during the course of this game.
Brings in John Jay. First time up, ground ball that was hit to third, initially ruled an error on Jerko, overturned. Snapped it over 27 and struck out swinging back in the third. Runner at second, Nick Ahmed. And a strike.
He's 0 for 27. He's got 94 hits already this year. And that's a chunk 0 for 27. Still hit 287, 94 hits before the All-Star break. That's pretty impressive.
And the 0-1. Had the chance to go down when John was with the Cardinals to Miami and to the Boys and Girls Club where he grew up. And he took me to his grandparents' house and the ball fields in which he played, which were the same ball fields that A-Rod grew up on, and some famous baseball players. And John was writing some checks and giving back, helping out a lot of the kids down in the Miami area. Very important to him. He's a good guy.
He does a lot for that area. He's got that bowling tournament he does every year. And you see him, he's trying to represent Miami in some way.
2-1 the count on John Jay. They were known, as you may remember, as the Memphis Mafios. John Jay and Daniel Descalso, David Freese, all coming up. All played big roles on championship clubs. The 2-1 pitch. Missed down and in. Well, you hate to see walks in this ballpark. It can turn into big innings.
Especially right here in the heart of the game, too. This is like the swing of the game where the game can turn anyway, right in the middle of the game, especially the pitch counts start to get up there.
3-1 to Jay. Ground ball. Jerko looks back the runner. Strike to Carpenter. And there's 2 down. When he limits the walks, just like is the case with most pitchers, but especially Martinez because of dominating stuff.
Well, it also
dominates the opposition.
Right, and it puts extra guys on base, and it obviously shows how important his control is for him. And all the pitch count gets up there too. It does a lot of things, and it taxes the bullpen because now you're not into games as long. With that, I think that is the stat that we don't see. It's what it does for everyone else.
Into right, and it drops in for a base hit. Goldschmidt 3 for 3 on the night. That brings in Nick Ahmed, the walk to start the inning, and it cuts a lead to 4-2. For Arizona, the last 13 runs have come when they've had a man in scoring position. So you're not talking about a lot of home runs. They've been picking up these key 2-out hits.
And like I said, against a guy like Martinez with the velocity and the movement, you take what he gives you, right? You're not trying to do too much. See a couple guys take some big swings and end up with the ground ball. Holtzman is just such a good hitter. He stays inside the ball. He's 3 for 3 with 3 singles against a guy who's got plus stuff.
And the tying run comes to the plate. Jake Lamb, he has 6 home runs this season. Hitting .243, he's driven in 25. 1 for 2 tonight. Single to right, grounded into a double play started by Matt Carpenter. Here's a 1-0. Ground ball. Wong ranging to his left. Tough play. The stretch by Carpenter. He's on the bag. The range of Colton Wong to his left, and the stretch by Carpenter. Just on the bag.
Hats off for heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Here's Yadier Molina. Four to 2 our score here in the top of the 6th. And the first pitch is a strike. Molina, a soft liner into right center on an 0-2 pitch back in the first that brought in 2. His RBI total is up to 34. Also popped out to short. 1 ball and 1 strike. Every day, Jimmy, your former teammate, is behind home plate. Night in, night out, day game after night game. Incredible run by Yadier Molina. And he hits it out to deep left field. Peralta back, goodbye. It's a home run for Molina, number 12. Solo home run number 12. He is now driven in 3. And it's a 5-2 St. Louis lead. Went down to get it, looked like.
Yeah, he did. And you know where he was at about 1:15 this afternoon? In the weight room. In the gym at the hotel, working to stay on top of his game. Pretty impressive.
He first came up. Did you ever envision that he'd be this well-rounded of a player? I mean, he knew defense was there, but what about the offense?
Well, when he first came up, he was so pudgy that they made him ride the bike every day after practice for like almost an hour sometimes. And you know, I was talking to a really good friend of mine was in town, and he saw Yachty today, and he was like, I cannot believe the transformation that he has made. He has completely changed his body from how he showed up in the big leagues.
That's got a chance into right. Back-to-back home runs. Jed Jerko at number 6. And the Cardinals go back-to-back here in the 6th.
Going with your theory about the third time around the lineup. Kind of figure out the plan or the program he's trying to do that day, what kind of pitches he's trying to throw, and finally make some mistakes. It's a good job by Jed. You can see he's been pitching in all night too, and Jed just staying with the plan outside. Stays behind it, hits it a long way.
Fifth time the Cardinals have gone back-to-back this year. Molina and Jerko go back-to-back. We're in the 6th. So Chevy called to the pen. Chafin, the lefty, they've carried now 3 lefties in their pen. De La Rosa, McFarland, and Chafin are Chevy called. Crowd tonight of 20,334. 2-0-3-3-4. Munoz an RBI double back in the first. Struck out in the fourth. Jed Jerko, it had been a span of 48 at-bats since his last home run.
Could be good news too, because he's a streaky hitter, and when he hits home runs, he starts hitting a lot of them.
Yep.
It's a good time to turn that back on, especially in this ballpark.
So Robbie Ray pitching into the 6th, gives up 6 runs on 9 hits, struck out 7, walked 1. And a pair of home runs as Munoz hits it too short. Nick Ahmed up with it and makes the play. Statcast powered by AWS. And the back-to-back home runs. First Molina, then Jed Jerko. Last 5 starts for Robbie Ray, he had given up 2 home runs total. He's knocked out with back-to-back homers tonight. A strike to Colton Wong. The oddity of Yadier Molina's season, 11 of his 12 home runs have been on the road. Only 1 at home. And the Cardinals have played the fewest road games in Major League Baseball.
Well, that's not good coming up in the second half, because then you start to become a road warrior team when the time is needed for rest.
Here's a 1-1. One ball and 2 strikes. The 2-2 is hit the other way. Lamb well off the line. The third baseman makes the play. Our Crickets something to smile about back in the second inning, and a double off the bat of Carlos Martinez into right center. Almost into the pool. Something to smile about. Presented by Cricket Wireless. First pitch fouled back. Still in the 10th. Minnesota and Milwaukee tied at 5-5. I think this is surprising despite playing 30 games here in his career. Several in this division with the Padres. But that was Jerko's first career home run here at Chase Field.
Interesting.
0-2 pitch. And Martinez hits it down the left field line, but foul.
Tell you what, Martinez hit that foul ball back here at that big swing, and I didn't really look around earlier. There is a lot of red Cardinal jerseys in the stands here today.
Cardinals normally travel very well here to this ballpark for whatever reason. And the 1-2 pitch to Martinez. Out of play. And the 1-2 again. Puts it in play to short. Nick Ahmed up with it. Back-to-back home runs. Molina and Jerko. Cardinals on top. 6-2. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. And by Missouri Baptist Medical Center. Doctors call it world-class medicine. You'll call it MOBAP. Chase Field in Arizona. And our Budweiser, what's on tap? Jack Flaherty 3-3 against Zach Greinke. He's 8-5. 5 of the 8 wins coming in the month of June for Greinke. Let's look at your Budweiser, what's on tap? One ball, one strike on A.J. Pollock. And there's a late swing. 1-2. Martinez 18-0. The Cardinals 19-0 when he receives 6 or more runs of support in his career. And tonight it's a lead of 6-2. And a swing and a miss, 95 miles an hour. That ball just exploding up in the zone to Pollock.
You could tell Pollock really didn't know what to look for. Anytime you see a hitter step out of the box and kind of look around in between pitches, so they're having trouble seeing the ball come out of his hand or does not have success against that particular pitcher. And he did not look comfortable in the box.
Peralta is 1 for 2. Triple into the gap in right center. That was on the first pitch, and then they could not bring him in. 0-1 pitch. Like the pace right now of Carlos Martinez. He's picked it up.
Yeah, definitely getting into a rhythm. It helps. Keep picking, grab the ball, throw it, keep your rhythm the same. Try not to change too much. Make your pitches.
That's yanked down the right field line and foul. Oh, 2 pitch. Popped up left side, and that'll find the seats. He had 3 different independent league stops. Got a shot with Arizona, took advantage of that. And he hit at every level along the way with the Diamondbacks. There's the 0-2. Out to center. Pretty well hit. Pham going back with room. The Phillips 66 ticket vouchers are back, and they are better than ever. Fill up at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more, and you can get a voucher for up to 50% off on up to 8 tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Daniel came up with 1 out, runner at third, was jammed on a cutter and popped it up on the infield. Then the strikeout of John Ryan Murphy back in the 4th inning, and that ended a threat for Arizona.
Yeah, that might have been the pitch of the night so far.
And Descalso thought that was down. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, I don't think at the end of this game the umpire is going to be happy with his grading sheet inside and outside of the zone, even though I think he was pretty correct on that one.
Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire.
Usually a really good umpire, and I don't think he's doing a bad job. There's just been some questionable strikes and balls.
Count runs at 3-2. And it's a walk with 2 outs here in the home half of the 6th. Second walk issued by Martinez, and the batter is John Ryan Murphy. Memphis wins again tonight. Stubby Clapp has done an amazing job with the Memphis Redbirds. All the call-ups and key players. Luke Voigt goes 3 for 3 again tonight. Mentioned earlier, he hit for the cycle yesterday, and now Yadier Molina. Maybe just trying to slow Martinez down here.
Just trying to keep him on track. Sometimes he gets a little off track. Talked to Yachty about that a lot. He just trying to keep him engaged in what he's doing. Like I said, be consistent with the delivery. When he's consistent, he's so good. And you can tell when you're watching closely when he starts to lose it.
There's a 2-out walk to Descalso. Now time is called. Count of 1 ball, no strikes on John Ryan Murphy. 0 for 2 tonight. And he yanks it foul. Just saw Molina call time and detected something not quite right with Carlos Martinez. May have been going to the windup.
Maybe.
Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Maybe on the wrong planet for a quick second.
Oh yeah, he's going to the windup with a runner at first base after the mound visit, and Molina quickly picked that up and said, all right, go to the stretch. Mike Myers throwing in the Cardinals pen. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fouled back. Pitches by inning. He's at 96 total, 19 here in the 6th. Joey Crable has begun to throw and get loose in the Diamondbacks bullpen. And he struck him out. That's 7 for Carlos Martinez. 2 in the inning. And the Cardinals have a lead of 6-2. Take a look at our game summary. The Cardinals about hit the Diamondbacks 9-6 and a lead of 6-2. Carlos Martinez, 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Molina's driven in 3. Robbie Ray pitched into the 6th. Knocked out with back-to-back home runs allowed, and Paul Goldschmidt 3 for 3 with a run driven in. This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Chafin took over after the back-to-back homers hit by Molina and Jerko in the 6th, and got 3 groundouts in a row of Munoz, Wong, and Martinez. So Mike Myers was up in the Cardinals' pen, and you're right around 100 pitches with Martinez. We'll see if Mike Matheny sticks with Carlos, and we'll see if Chafin sticks any longer beyond Carpenter in this inning. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Carpenter. Doubled into the corner in right, scored back in the first, part of a 4-run inning. Struck out swinging in the second and grounded into the shift in the 5th. And the 1-1. You see the third baseman, Nick Lamb. He'll move towards the shortstop position, even more so towards second base. Carpenter to slap one the other way.
And I'd be so tempted if I was struggling to bunt with 2 strikes. Just
against a tough lefty.
Well, the thing, if you square around to bunt too, you can pick up the slider and the breaking ball, and then if he throws you a strike, you got a chance to put it in play.
That's why teams are shifting.
I mean, you might as well put the third baseman over there too. Put him in that 32% hole.
That's the spray chart. Percentages of the balls put in play, where they're going. And the 1-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Tap foul.
Have you ever seen everyone on one side?
Couple of times. But it only happens with 2 strikes. And I'm with you. I think we've seen it against Carpenter with 4 on the right side of the infield. Two and two.
I feel like if we have that shot of Martinez right there,
he's done.
We might have a chance for another bobblehead next year. Maybe make that 5 with that hairdo. He's got the flow going tonight.
He does.
A little Pedro Martinez. There's a little more grease in there.
2-2 pitch. And he gets Carpenter to wave at it. Second time that Matt has struck out. Chafin has come in, seen 4 batters, 4 up and 4 down. This will be a double switch. Ketel Marte will come in for Daniel Descalso. And we'll have a major league debut. Joey Crable coming on for the Diamondbacks here in the top of the 7th with 1 out and Pham coming up. coming up July 17th, and you can see that on Fox and on the Fox app. Crable into the ball game along with Ketel Marte. Marte at second base. 25 years of age, out of Seminole, Florida. Originally picked up by the Angels. He's had 8 minor league seasons combined with the Angels and the Diamondbacks. Overall, 14 and 19, 25 saves. He was 2-1 at AAA this year with a 2.45 ERA. A strike to Tommy Pham. He's walked and scored. Called out on strikes in the second inning. And singled on a 3-2 pitch back in the fifth, which snapped a string of 10 in a row by Robbie Ray. Guy makes his major league debut. Jimmy, did you rely on video? Did you just go with the eye test?
The eye test. That's all you can do. They know what he's got as far as pitches, but that doesn't do anything for you. Unless someone would say this guy's got a great curveball, that's his put away pitch, but you still have to see it for yourself. Velocity's nice to know. Movement would be nice to know. Other than that, the old school baseball.
2-2.
Not surprising at all that he's throwing 98 coming out of the bullpen.
Who doesn't?
Good Lord.
(19,314) players have played in Major League history, and he's the most recent.
Some kind of stat right there. You had to go way back in your memory for that one.
Started running through
your Rolodex.
Yep.
In your mind.
And it's a 1-out walk for Tommy Pham. Now here's a guy making his major league debut. And you wonder if the Cardinals want to be aggressive in this spot. Got good speed with Tommy Pham, 4-run lead. Pham with 9 steals. He's been caught 6 times. And O'Neill on the first pitch hits it a mile high on the infield, and the catch made by Paul Goldschmidt, 3-time Gold Glover.
That ball went above the first set of rafters.
Yep.
That is way up there.
And Marcell Ozuna will be the batter. Mike Myers has been throwing in the Cardinals' pen. And there's ball 1. Ozuna, a couple of strikeouts, one looking, the other swinging. Also fly to right. He's 0 for 3. Pham, by the way, has walked 5 times in his last 4 games. So you get the idea. He's starting to see the ball a little bit better at the plate. Ozuna lines it. What a play here. Lamb across the diamond. And he robs Marcell Ozuna. Time to stretch here in game 1. final 9 outs as Mike Myers is into the ball game for St. Louis. Our Chevy call to the pen, his 24th appearance. It seems like Jimmy's just getting better and better as we go along.
Getting a little bit more comfortable. Getting out there and playing. I mean, it's just there's no way to duplicate or replicate anything at this level, and kind of got to get your feet wet a little bit, learn a little bit, kind of just see how it works and go attack. But you definitely have to make adjustments on the fly when you're up here at the big league level. He's doing a good job of that.
So Carlos Martinez out of the game. Bader is in. He's in right field. Tyler O'Neill in left. And here's Nick Ahmed. Part of the double switch last inning was Marte. He's at the on deck circle, and then John Jay. One ball and one strike. It's outstanding fastball. It's thrown about 60% of the time, but he's hit triple digits with that this year. And the 1-1 pitch. Watch out. Oh boy. Man, oh man. Gentleman there in the red shirt. I mean, it was inches away from him.
My eyes couldn't even adjust that fast.
Wow.
I didn't even see where it went. Sure there's a dent in there somewhere. Yeah, with the camera standing up above everyone else down there, the dugout area. That was a dangerous spot.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Ahmed. And a fly ball lifted into right. There's Bader with the catch. Friday, July 13th, 30,000 fans, 16 and older, take home a cowboy hat featuring the bird on the bat logo, courtesy of Brown and Crouppen. And get your July 13th Cardinals Reds tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Marte has played a lot of shortstop in his career. He's at second base as he took over for Daniel Descalso. Six hits, couple of runs allowed by Carlos Martinez in 6 innings. He struck out 7 and walked 2. One ball, one strike on Ketel Marte. Austin Gomber begins to throw, the lefty in the Cardinals pen. He's hit 99, the low of 85. So as we mentioned, he's throwing harder and harder. Hit up the middle and a base hit.
There's
One out hit.
location and got that ball up. One reason why that ball got hit, 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's John Jay, a single, strikeout, and a ground out on a 3-1 pitch back in inning number 5. Myers came in with 26 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts. And a slider in for strike 1. See, Marte keeps stretching down there, and the other night he had a cramp. He could not get rid of it. He keeps stretching now at first base. Could be two. Gloved. Flip. Turn. Stretch. Double play. It's a double play behind Mike Myers. What a turn by Colton Wong. Munoz to Wong to Carpenter in the stretch in a double play. Six to 2 our score. We're in the top of the 8th. Thank you, Jim Hayes. 6th inning. And the Cardinals with Yadier Molina. And then Jed Jerko in our Budweiser plays of the game. Cardinals went back to back. The home run ball. 5th time they've done that this year. Molina has driven in 3. A single on an 0-2 pitch to shallow right center that brought in 2 back in the first. Popped out to short, and the solo home run. Graybull is 2nd inning of work. Robbie Ray pitched into the 6th and not recorded out. Chafin inning in a 3rd. Graybull got the final 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Two and 1. Two and 2. Greg Holland looks to be turning into a weapon for the Cardinals. He's back to where he was. And he's starting to get loose.
He got in the feel of that slider and will throw that fastball for strikes and stuff that he has. You're right, it's turning into a weapon.
And Molina hits it to deep short. Ahmed makes the play. And it brings in Jed Jerko. That was Jerko's first home run in a span of 48 at bats. Number 6 on the year. He's driven in a pair and scored a run. A fastball to 96 from Crable. 0-1. Ahmed to his left. That's what I mean. He's pretty slick.
Yeah, it's a slick play right there going up the middle. I just liked when you watch an athlete. You watch him, he gets rid of this ball. He knows if he sets his feet, he's got no chance. So basically get the ball up and out of his hands as quick as possible.
Good defense is fun to watch.
It is.
Cardinals have played pretty good defense tonight. That was a nifty double play they turned in the bottom of the 7th. There's Jairo Munoz. Munoz came in 4th in average among rookies in the National League. Doubled, picked up an RBI back in the 1st inning. Struck out and grounded out.
He's come a long way.
It really has.
Especially after the first couple of weeks.
First couple of weeks it looked to be overmatched a bit. But comes back, settles in, gets the first hit. Chance to play every day. Things fall into place.
Yeah, it helps. Mentally helps to know if you're going to be out there every day. And then just the more the at-bats pile up, the more of an idea you have of what's going to happen each day.
And
definitely
there's
helps.
a base hit into left. A 2-out hit for Munoz. He's 2 for 4.
Because it's the same game everywhere you go. It just is little things are different up here. Just little things, and they make all the difference in the world. Good job right there. He's been nice quick bat today.
Here's Colton Wong. Wong is 0 for 3 today.
That's the kind of pitch right there I'm talking about. Decent pitch. It's off the plate, and it's not off the plate just a tiny little bit.
You know, this is interesting as Jose Martinez goes to the on-deck circle. My initial thought was that when Bader came in, he had been double switched in the pitcher's spot to hit, but that apparently is not the case. So Bader is in the 4th spot in the Cardinal lineup. As Ozuna was taken out of the game, and instead of having Bader hit in this position, potentially the 9th spot behind Wong, it's the pitcher spot. And Wong sends a fly ball into left. Peralta with the catch. Cardinals strand a runner, their 5th of the night. 6-2. And tote bag coming up on the same day. You could wrap up your little one with the Fredbird towel. Mom's got the tote bag, and you walk away happy on July 15th. Cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Greg Holland to face Paul Goldschmidt. And a base hit. He's 4 for 4. Last 6 appearances for Greg Holland. Chevy called to the pen, 5 2/3, only 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, and the key there, no walks. Fastball command.
Yeah, I've been getting ahead and throwing that slider that he has in a spot where he can use it for swings and misses instead of not being ahead. And then that slider was more guys were taking it. Now they got to be aggressive and after he gets ahead and start swinging at that pitch, because you can't afford to take pitches once you get behind. Crazy how this game works, right?
Yep. Jake Lamb at the plate. You know, he's got variations too with the slider. He'll take something off. He gets more of that big dip. He's got a hard slider too.
He's got that. I remember a couple outings ago he dropped that big breaking ball in for a strike.
Runner at first, Goldschmidt. He's got a couple of stolen bases this year. Very short lead. And the 0-1. I would imagine on a left-handed batter, Jimmy, that he'd be really tough because he jumps at the lefty.
Well, and that ball is coming down and in. Then that's the key, the down and in. It's always talking about the in, having you to speed up. You don't have time to wait and throw your hands at something to foul it off. And it's just amazing. Like I said, game's a simple game, right? Difference it is between being ahead and being behind.
Wong gets a lead man back to first, not in time. Tell you what, Colton Wong is playing with a lot of confidence defensively. You can see it. He's got a lot of jump, smooth. Gets a lead man.
Center field,
There's A.J. Pollock, and he's 0 for 3. Cardinals about hit the Diamondbacks 10-8. They lead 6-2. Cardinals have turned a pair of double plays, 3-6-1 back in the third, 6-4-3 in the seventh. And the 1-0 pitch by Holland. There's your ground ball. How about 2? Out there, back to first, not in time. The throw that will go into the Cardinal dugout.
Holt kind of spiked that throw a little bit. He'll rush a little bit. Still might not have got him.
Aaron Wong, his third of the year. There's David Peralta, 1 for 3 with a triple. And a grounder that finds a hole into right field. Bader's throw to the plate, not in time, and that will score Pollock. And it makes it a 6-3 St. Louis lead.
Talk about the simple things, right? Talking about getting ahead on the mound, throwing strikes, allows you to make different pitches. We'll talk about the error right there. Spike that ball bounces into the dugout, and now you got a guy on second instead of first, and a simple base hit's now a run instead of just a guy on first and second.
It was Wong's first error since May 13th. There's Chris Owings. Crable, a nice debut. As Owings is pinch hitting for the pitcher. 2 outs, runner at first, and that pitch taken high. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Owings. Hits a high fly ball out to left. And that'll stay in the ballpark. O'Neill on the track to make the catch. Really good. This year, 2.08 ERA in 40 appearances. Typically the 8th inning guy. Last pitched on the 27th of June. And so the Diamondbacks, having lost the last 3 games, he needs a little work, so he's into the ballgame tonight. Jose Martinez will lead it off as a pinch hitter. Then we'll see Carpenter and Pham. And a strike. Be Murphy, Ahmed, and Marte looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th for Arizona. Mentioned at the top of our broadcast, Jose Martinez putting in some work in right field. Maybe seeing that transition. Could be tomorrow. Next day we'll find out. And a strike, 1-2. Jose was one of the best pinch hitters in baseball a year ago. And he sends a high fly ball out to right. Backing up Jay, now in a few steps to make the catch. Here's Carpenter. Bud Norris is getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. Matt has struck out a couple of times, grounded into the shift, and also a double into the right field corner. raised his average to 256 at the start of play tonight over the last 42 games. Back on May 15th, he was hitting 140.
It's crazy. Just slow and steady. Been putting it together.
And a ground ball hit to second. Carpenter retired. There's Brian Eversgerd in the back, and Bud Norris getting loose for the Cardinals. 6-3 our score. Brett Cecil looking on. Here's Tommy Pham, pair of walks and also a single, and he looks at a strike. And he's jammed, and it's out in front of the plate. Murphy pounces on it, and Pham retired. Bud Norris coming on when we come back at 6-3. The bullpen cart, bring it back. I love it.
Not what I thought you were going with on that, but I think if I'm coming out of the bullpen, I'm going to have to try the cart.
Yep.
Just to say you did it.
It's old school, man. I like it.
What do you think about that? What's the one that comes to your mind?
Good question.
Was it Shea Stadium they had one with like a baseball?
Trying to think of the best one. I mean, the ones that were on turf, I mean, they take you right to the mound. Yankees had a cart that would take you in, but this one went on the track.
Don't mess up the field.
No.
Hard enough to keep this grass growing on a part-time covered up stadium.
But Norris trying to pick up save number 16. 6-3 our score. The Yankees had a Datsun bullpen car that would take you into games. One pitch and one out. Murphy retired. Phillips 66. What's in the tank? Talked to Bud today at length, and he said he feels about as good as he's ever felt. He has a trainer in St. Louis that lives with him, and he had his body tested the other day by Pete Prenzi, strength and conditioning coach of the Cardinals, and he said he's actually put on weight but lost body fat. So he's gotten even stronger as the season has gone forward.
I find it interesting because I'm down there a lot with talking to Pete and those guys, and it's interesting to find out a lot of guys don't like to work out during the season, and when they do, they're scared of it, but how much better they feel.
I mean, a lot of times guys think they need to save it up.
Yeah. Scott Rowland, I told Scott Rowland one time my legs were hurting so bad and I was just dying on the field, like dying. And he said, come out and run after the game with me one night. And I said, what? not going to run. I mean, I'm already tired. And he said, trust me. And so one night in Cincinnati, we went underneath, changed, put on our shorts, lights went off, and we ran 10 sprints from left field to center field, like 3/4 speed. Next day I woke up and couldn't believe how well I felt.
Is that right?
It was unbelievable. And then from then on, every time I felt bad, and what it is, it's like a pitcher. You're trying to get that old bad blood out of your legs. Those guys, when they run the next day, they're trying to get that blood out of their arms.
1-2 the count. Just missed. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Nick Ahmed. That's tapped foul. According to the Diamondbacks PR department, Bud Norris, unofficially, of course, the 9th different pitcher to use the bullpen cart this year.
I wish we could get that picture of that Yankees car on our telecast.
It's a beaut.
That was some kind of, what did you call it? A Datsun?
Yeah.
Pinstripe Datsun.
It's a foul ball.
What year is that thing?
It's old Yankee Stadium there.
I mean, that car has got to be in the 60s. That's a Toyota. Goose Gossage getting out of a Toyota in the 60s, 70s, wherever that is.
Yeah, that's in the 70s there.
70s for sure. That's when you need Al in the booth. He'll tell you all about it. Wonder how many golf carts he came out of. Probably none.
Real men ran out of the bullpen.
The mad Hungarian would not take a golf cart.
No, sir. The 2-2 pitch. And a strikeout for Norris, and the Cardinals 1 out away from taking game 1. Plaza Tire Service, Fox Tracks. Carlos Martinez, by the way, with 7 strikeouts. He's got a chance to be a winner. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, walked a couple. And now Ketel Marte. And a strike. Boy, Bud has done a really nice job, hasn't he?
Gets ahead and darts pitches away from, especially the right-handed hitters. But just like you said, getting ahead is such a key.
Fouled back. And the Cardinal fans here in Arizona on their feet. St. Louis trying to snap their 4-game losing skid. The 0-2 pitch to Marte is hit out of play.
Another good fastball right there. That's the thing too, is sneaky. 96, a lot of strikes, challenges the hitters, but doesn't just challenge them down the middle in. It's always up and away, down and away, up and in.
Marte, a ground ball that's hit to short. Backhanded by Munoz, and a low throw dug out by Carpenter. And the Cardinals take game one by the final of 6-3.
Nice job right there getting a lead early and holding it basically. And I like the fact in the 6th inning they scored 2 more runs. So nice 6-3 victory.
Coming up, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Jim Hayes standing by. Post-game show next.